All right, real quick. I'm gonna go through a quick little lesson for those of you who missed out yesterday or today rather. Um, this is our lesson for 11:18. This is lesson 4.4 from Unit 4, and this is the percent proportion. I told you guys last week that we were gonna go over a method that worked really well with the percents for those of you who were struggling, and that's this lesson right here. So let's dive into it. So first of all, again, let me switch my screen. All right. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to use an equation that's going to help us solve the percent problems. And the equation we're actually going to use for this is what we call is over of. And it's going to be set up like a proportion. So it's two fractions. So it's is over of is equal to percent over 100. Another way that you can think about that, again, two fractions. Another way people write that is part of the fraction over the whole fraction is equal to the percent over 100, right? Okay, so that's kind of your equations that we're going to be using for today. All right, so let's dive into some example problems. I'll give you a couple problems to work on your own, and then I will give you the IXL code that you need. So example problems. And this is how we want our notebook set up. So if you're working this at home, you are absent today, please do this in your math notebook. Or if you don't have access to it, do it on a single sheet of paper that you can staple or glue into your notebook. But we want this so we can keep it. Okay. Our example problems. So let's get down a quick little CFS. And again, our CFS is actually our criteria for success. So these are our steps that we're going to go through, and we make sure that we can get our answer correct. Okay. So our CFS number one is we're going to set up our equation with the given information. What that means is given info, so we can shorten it. What that means is they're going to give you information. So you just have to set up this equation that we've written up here, this is over of, and then you got to put the numbers in that you know. You're then going to cross multiply and then divide. So this is our criteria for success, or our steps that will get us there. All right, so number one, I want to know what is 25% of 44. Okay, so with that, what you're looking at always is okay, first of all, they said what is. So we have no idea what that part is. We have 25% that they gave us and of 44. So look at our equation up here. Is over of. So they said what is the is. We don't know what that is. So setting that up, is over of, we know that is our variable. X is our is, our of is 44. Again, looking up here, we see our 44. Then that is equal to our percent over 100. They gave us 25% over 100, right? So now your second step, after we set up the equation, now we can cross multiply and divide. Some of us know this as the butterfly method, but it's a little different because you have to end up dividing. So you multiply, cross multiply 100 times x. That's going to actually give you 100x. Okay. Then you got 25 times 44. So you may not know, you got to bring your equal sign down too. You may not know this by heart. What is 25 times 44? Just work it out. Don't stress yourself. And once you work this out, you'll see that, okay, boom, boom, 25 times 4, that's 100, and this is going to be 100, equals out to 1100. So our 25 times 4 is 1100. And that's what goes here. So we end up with a one-step equation like we worked in the past. So this tells us that 100 times something is 1100. Another way to do this is we got to isolate this variable, get the x by itself. If you divide by 100, that goes away. But whatever you do on one side, you got to do to the other. So 1100 divided by 100. Again, if you don't know that by heart, just do the work. If you divide this by 100 real quick, that's 1, 10, bring your 0 down, another 1, and then we're done. So this tells me that my x is equal to 11. If we were to rewrite this sentence again, we could write it as 11 is 25% of 44. Okay, and that's how we work those out. Now we're going to do another example. Again, feel free to pause whenever. If I'm moving too quick for you, you can pause, rewind, all that good stuff. Number 2, what that's going to look like. So we found the is. Now I want to show you how we find the of. Number 2, we're going to say 25 is 5% of what number? Okay. Again, we set it up using the equation that we know. If you look at this, of what number? So that means we don't know the of. We know the is. So 25 is. We don't know the of. Our percent is 5 over 100. Same method here. 25 times 100 is going to give us 2500. And 5 times our x is going to give us 5x. Don't forget your equal sign. And now we got a one-step equation that we can work out. Get rid of this 5 next to the x. We got to do our opposite operation, which is our 5 divided by 5. Whatever we do on one side, we got to do to the other. And this ultimately, again, if you don't know it, some of these you'll start being able to do in your head the more practice you do. It's 5, 25. Don't stop there. You still have zeros, guys. 0, and then you bring your other 0 down, and it's still 0. So it's not 5, it's 500. So my x is equal to 500. We rewrite this, you end up with 25 is 5% of 500. Okay, so that's kind of your second example, example number 2. I think I got enough space to squeeze number 3 on here real quick. Example number 3. So we did is we found of. Now let's find the percent. Notice none of the steps or the process has changed with this stuff, guys. It's simply a matter of where your information is, what they give you. 15 is what percent of 50. Again, what percent? We don't know our percent. So when we set this up, we know 15 is with is, 15 is, and then 50 is with of, and we don't know our percent. So our percent spot is blank or a variable. Same method. 15 times 100 is going to give us 1500. 50 times x, 50x. Bring your equal sign down. Now we got the same process. We divide by 50 to cancel that out, but we got to do it on both sides. And then we're left with x is equal to whatever we get here, 1500 divided by 50. Can't make a group of 50 with 1 or 15, but you can do 150. That's 3 groups. 150, 0 left over, bring a 0 down. That's another 0. There we go. So x is equal to 30. You rewrite that out. That means that 15 is 30% of 50. I forgot to box my other one up here. I'll go back and do that. Those are my two answers. Okay. So those are essentially the only types of problems you're going to see. They're going to ask you for the is, they're going to ask you for the of, or they're going to ask you for the percent. So you just got to be able to identify what they're asking you for. All right. So give you a couple problems to practice with, and then I'll reveal the answers. So real quick, I'm going to write these answers out. We're going to call these our CFUs. So we're going to check to see if you understand. So number one for this, whoops, what is 7% of 80? Again, pause the video and actually try to work it out yourself before you do this. Remember, you can go back and look at your notes, but remember it's is over of is equal to percent over 100. Okay, so actually try to work them before I do it. So pause the video, try to work it out. See if you can set it up correctly, and then maybe unpause it to check your setup, and then pause it again to actually work it out, and then you can unpause it to check yourself. So I'm gonna get to going now here. So it's gonna be x over 80 because of is with 80. We don't know is, and then we got 7%. Same method, cross multiply. 80 times 70, that's 80 times 7 is 560. And then 100 times x is 100x. Divide by 100 to get rid of that guy. Divide by 100 here. You end up with x is equal to 5.6. Give me a quick second, guys. I'm about to get rained on, so I gotta move locations real quick. Our next two problems, number two, is gonna be 10 is what percent of 25? Okay, that's gonna be our second problem. We set that up. We have 10 in our is spot, 25 in our of spot equals what percent? We don't know our percent. You do your cost multiply, you end up with 25x. Over here, you end up with 1,000. We got to divide by our 25 to get it to go away. We end up with x is equal to 40. All right, last one. 60 is 12% of what number? So if we set that up, we got 60. We don't know that. 12%. Cross multiply, 12x. Cross multiply, 6,000. Divided by 12, that goes away. Divided by 12, we end up with x equals 500. All right, I hope that was helpful. Now, you should go ahead and go to IXL code 8 and 4 and work out your problems in your notebook. All right. Hope that was helpful.